So, if like me, you have an entry-level coil fork, you probably think that servicing these is just not worth it. Leave it to the big boys with their big forks, right? Well, you're wrong. Join me now and I will show you how to perform a lower leg service on your entry-level coil fork. Tools that I'm going to be using are as follows. I have got a pad spacer, just in case that when the wheel is out, I pull on that brake lever. I don't want any extra work. We've got Allen keys. We've got 3mm, 5mm and an 8mm Allen key. Flat-headed screwdriver. There may or may not be a need for this. We will check in on that one. I've got a rubber mallet, a clean rag and some bike grease that needs to be rubber friendly. Obviously because of the wiper seals. Now this is a Teflon grease, others are available. And also here I've got a bit of soapy water in a spray bottle. So once your wheel is out of the way, under your brake caliper, I have put my pad spacer in there just in case I pull on the lever and push the pistons out. I don't want to be dealing with that today. Right, so now once that is off, I've also taken off the hose clamp from the top of the fork here with the 3mm Allen key. I'm just going to hook that back over the frame out of harm's way. Right, so now we need to deal with actually removing the lowers of the fork. I'm going to start on the rebound adjustment side just down here. There's a little red knob. If we grab hold of that, some people use pliers. I don't want to use that just in case I scratch it. Yeah, you could put a bit of rag around it. Basically whatever you want to do. I am not doing that. I'm going to grab it, pull it, and whilst I'm pulling it, I'm going to kind of put it in a circular mode, circular movement, and then hopefully it should just come out. So, let's have a look. It's tight. It is tight, but it should come. There we go. Oh, and watch out for the other bit that falls out with it. Basically, it's a hexagonal key. Bit like part of an Allen key really, which just sits in there, and that's what allows you to kind of adjust your rebound settings. So put that somewhere safe out of the way. Next we're going to need to move on to actually removing the lowers, but before we do that we've got to undo the bolts here. At the top of the fork, I don't know if it's the same as you or not, I've got preload adjustment and I've got the lockout setting here for the fork as well. We don't need to touch that. There's not really any serviceable parts up here that we need to deal with. I just want to make sure this has got enough grease in there, because I don't think that these sort of forks really have enough grease in from the factory. So back down to the bottom where we've got the rebound section, where we just pulled the red plastic part out of. We're going to need an 8mm Allen key just to slot into there. Loosen that off. You can take it out all the way, but there's a good chance that you are going to need that in there, and I will just show you as to why in a moment. So I'm actually just going to put that in another couple of turns and move on to the other leg. Right, on this side we're going to need a 5mm Allen key in the bottom, popping it in there. That one's actually quite loose, so perhaps it is actually worth having a look at your forks, even just to make sure that these things are tight. Again, take it all the way out. I'm just going to put it in a couple of turns and we're ready for the next stage. Because this is probably not just going to pull off. No, that's not coming right. So the reason for leaving these in, I'm just going to put an Allen key in there now. Grab my mallet and I'm actually going to hit the bottom of that Allen key whilst trying to kind of pull a little bit on the lowers of the forks themselves. We're going to do it to both sides, so let's get the 5mm for the other side. There we go. Now have we got movement? Yeah, that's probably going to pull off. So but obviously before we do that, we just need to undo these bolts all the way. And then the lowers should pull off. Now don't worry, you might have seen some videos where people pull the lowers off of their forks and then oil is going everywhere. because these are coil forks, they do not take any oil in this lower section. So don't panic, you're not going to flood it all over your shoes. Okay, there we go. Just pull it gently. Yeah, that's coming. Oh no, it's not. No, it's still a bit stuck. Right, what part is stuck? I think it is, it's this side. So I'm just going to use actually the 5mm Allen key now. I'm just going to poke up there and give that a tap. Is that allowing me to? No, it is not. Right, let's try that again. So 5mm key in, just so it passes through to, but doesn't go into the threaded part. I do it with a bolt. Is that now going to allow me? There we go. So that is now going to come off. A little bit of persuasion, it will get there. There we go. So that's the lowers off of your forks. It leaves the upper stanchions here. As I say, these parts we're not going to be doing anything with. All I want to do is make sure that we've got plenty of grease in here. It was starting to come out a bit black. When I was going on a ride, I was getting black marks up my stanchions, and I don't want those black marks. So that's what we're going to be re-greasing shortly. But before we do that, I'm just going to give these stanchions a wipe down. Now you saw that I had this here, just a bit of soapy water. Just literally going to spray a bit on those stanchions. Make sure that your brake's out of the way. There we go. Grab that rag. Don't grab an old dirty one, bits of grit and stuff on it. Treat yourself to some clean rag. And just give it a nice wipe down to remove any dirt, any old grease. Basically, there's none on here. Ready for reassembly. There we go. Now, when you've wiped it all down, inspect these stanchions for any scratches. I've got a couple of light ones there. If it feels like they're rough, then you will probably want to try and get rid of that, because that will ruin your wiper seals and then allow moisture, dirt, sand, whatever it is you're riding in to actually enter into the lowers of the fork, and it's going to cause a bit more damage. If you have got some rough bits on there, you might want some really fine emery cloth, maybe a bit of metal polish, just to try and smooth it off until it actually feels smooth underneath your finger, basically. So that's all good, that's ready to go. It does look to be like a rubbery bit there. I'm actually going to wipe these lower sections off as well. I'm just going to re-grease the whole lot. Yeah, there we go. We'll do that. Right. So now this is ready for the grease. As I've mentioned already, I am using a Teflon grease. I've not even opened this one yet. Literally just went to Halfords and picked this one up. Could probably buy it cheaper online. Maybe even a local bike shop. But for today it was convenience for me because I haven't got a lot of time. Right, so with this grease I am just going to apply some under here. You don't need absolutely loads, so don't go too mad. There we go, that's coming out, it's a lovely red colour. And that does have to be safe to use with rubber. Some car greases you would use on rubber sections, but the rubber in cars is made to, it's a different kind of rubber to what you'd find on your mountain bike fork seals. And your mountain bike fork seals will not put up with it, so don't use anything lithium based, don't use anything petroleum based. I would say either silicone or Teflon. Right, there we go, nice little ring around there. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up these lowers once more. Very minimal grease in there, but I'm just going to grab a section of this rag, just literally wipe around there, outside and the inside, making sure you don't get any dusty bits or anything in there, because again, that's not going to do you any good. Now I'm just changing the section of rag I'm using just to make sure it's still clean, but there's hardly any grease in there whatsoever. It's the thing with an entry-level fork, they're just chucked on a bike to sell the units. Obviously if you're spending hundreds of pounds on some forks, whether they're RockShox or Fox or what have you, even more expensive Suntours, they are going to have better parts in, and you'd like to think that they're going to be oiled in a correct way. I mean, obviously an air fork will have oil in the lower sections, which will keep the wiper seals lubricated, but coil forks, they don't need that oil, so you need to make sure it is greased. There we go. Right, that's all clean. I'm going to put some of this red grease into there now. I don't know if we can see. Yeah, we can. We've got a section down here. Just going to put a bit of grease, put a blob in there. If you can see that, both sides, and I'm going to run that around with my finger, and then I'm going to do the same with the actual wiper seals as well. So if I just blobbity blob, blobbity blob, there we go. Just get the finger in and just run that all the way around the inside. It's quite difficult to do this, so you can see it there actually. This is it, this is the kiddie. Another red grease you could use would be red rubber grease, like Castrol stuff, Castrol red rubber grease. If you can find that online, that would be lovely for this too. There we go, and now that is all rubbed around in there. Probably can't even see it. It's all rubbed around on the inside of there, ready to go. I'm actually also going to just rub a bit around the lower part of the stanchion as well. Chances are it's just going to get pushed up the stanchion when the lowers go on, you wipe it off at the end. But I'm going to do it. I don't think it's ever been treated to anything like this in the past, so let's treat this fork. Again, just a blob on each, and then use your finger just to smear that around the outside of the stanchion. That's it. Lovely. And that is pretty much all there is to it for a lower leg service on your coil fork. So let's wipe that off my finger, and now it's time to reassemble your forks. So what I'm going to do is just going to slide this on carefully. Now when this goes on, your rubber wiper seals here, you want to make sure they don't fold in on themselves when you're pushing them up the stanchion of the uppers. So we go slow, don't force it on. It will soon let you know when it's ready to go on. I'm going to try and wiggle. Right, this side is ready to go. where the coil is here, this side is not ready to go yet. Looks like it's trying to fold in. Don't force it. Don't force it, as you're going to knacker your seals, and then that will be it. You would need some new seals. No, it's being a pain in the bum. Come on. So you can see exactly here how much of a pain it could be to actually get these back in. Oh, I think that is it. And before I go any further, I can see that it is pushing that grease up. The stanchion, to me, that looks pretty good all round. So I'm actually going to continue to push this up. There we go. We are in position. Now, yeah, that's going to be good. Right, next up, we need to obviously secure the bolts into the bottom again. So I'm going to start with the coil side, the spring side. 5mm Allen key needs to go in to tighten this one up. If it's in line down here, which it is not. So if it's not quite in line, you can use, I'm going to use a 3mm Allen key just to try and pull that over and line that up underneath. Yep, that's ready to go. That's ready to go. So we chuck that one in. Make sure it's done up tighter, I think, than it was when I undone it. The last thing you want is that to fall off. There we go. I'm not going excessively tight. There's no need. Okay, same thing with the other side. Now that kind of looks like it's in line, is it? Yeah. I'd say that's good to go. So this is the 8mm side. No, that's not going in. Right, let's line that up. Are we going in? Yep, that is going in. Tighten that one up. Again, not excessive. Next bit is we need to install your rebound knob. So I'm actually going to put that, I want to put that in there first. So I'm just going to use a bit of the grease, just to put it on the end, just so it holds it in place, just to make sure. There we go, so that's in there, and then we put this on like so. Push it. I'm actually going to tap it on with a mallet. Now we'll turn that just to make sure that it does, yet turn and then stop turning. Which it's doing, so that is engaged. Okay, so next obviously we need to just put the bike back together, wheel on, brake on. One last thing, because I know you guys are eagle-eyed out there. I I've not wiped off the excess on there, so I'm just going to do that now. Here we go. Wipey wipes. Well, there we go. We're all done. That didn't take long at all, did it? Nice one. If this has helped you out in any way at all, please let me know down below. Give us a like, subscribe, share the video with people you think might be able to benefit from it. And until next time, finger fade.